17 members and associates of the Hells Angels are facing criminal charges in a violent attack.
Federal agents allege the outlaws sold drugs, traded firearms, and engaged in insurance fraud and even tampered with government witnesses.
We have learned there is cell phone video as well as surveillance video of evidence in this attack.
The U.S. attorney characterized today's raids as historic, the largest federal bust on organized criminal gang activity.
Retaliation is common for crimes involving biker gangs. However, it could happen anywhere because of how interconnected gangs have become nationwide.
The 3-year investigation resulted in 42 federal indictments on a variety of charges, including racketeering, money laundering, drugs, gambling, insurance fraud, and extortion.
There's a bunch of bikers up here, and they're shooting guns and stuff. I need the police now.
But on foot going towards 2nd Street. Okay, receive.
Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today we're talking about biker wars. Today's discussion is going to be about Brandon and the green light they have on the Bandidos. So they had a hearing, and we're going to talk about it today. Before we get started, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop. Got a lot of great things coming. Hangover Closer, how are you? Aunt, what's good? Lindsay, good morning. Make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe, and put the bell on all so you get all my videos. I have over 5,000 videos for you to check out. I think it's close to 6,000 now. But anyway, you guys know I put out so much content. Sometimes it's overwhelming to some people. But, I mean, we're getting a lot of good stuff out there. So, we got some crazy information for you guys on the way. There's been new information about the whole situation down in New Smyrna Beach. We're going to talk about that later. And it's not what you expect. Because, like, I was thinking, how did all this transpire? Like, what's the reason behind it? Because the math wasn't mathing. But we got the answer for you guys. And we're going to bring it to you. But right now, we're going to be talking about Brandon. So, there's an article that came out behind the Bandidos. Detention hearings unveil military ties, criminal records, and varied lives. There isn't just one type of Bandito. That much became clear over the past 2 weeks as 14 current and former members of the Bandidos and Musketeros motorcycle gangs appeared in federal courtrooms in Houston, where judges decided whether they would be detained for the foreseeable future. So they had a hearing on whether they would be released or not. And most of them were released. The detention hearings offered a glimpse into the mysterious and often cryptic world of criminal motorcycle gangs, which authorities say operate under a strict set of bylaws and follow primarily paramilitary structure that demands obedience to orders. Especially the Bandidos, they dot your I and you have to take a punch to the face. Like, it's just craziness. The lengthy hearing also confirmed that members of such gangs don't fit a single mold. At least 4 of the defendants have military backgrounds, including a former Marine who served overseas and at least 10 times, according to his attorney. Meanwhile, they have extensive criminal histories. Others maintain clean records. Additionally, one former Bandito publicly expressed remorse for his affiliation with the group. They have all pled not guilty. Last month, federal authorities announced that 14 men were responsible for a range of crimes, including murder, assault, robbery, and arson. Authorities said the crimes were committed over a 3-year period. as part of a violent turf war between the Bandidos and their rivals. Many of the charges fall under seldom used Racketeering Influence Corrupt Organizations Act, or RICO. And you guys know that law was passed in 1970 to combat organized crime and the mafia. Now they're using it on motorcycle gangs and street gangs, and the times are changing. So, altogether, the superseding indictment details 6 separate incidents in which people associated with the group that the Bandidos view as rivals were threatened, robbed, assaulted, or killed. The motorcycle club is perhaps best known in Texas for the 2015 shooting with the rivals Cossacks in Waco outside a Twin Peaks restaurant, in which 9 people died and 20 were injured. And that was an insane case that happened there. Like, it was a beautiful day, and there was a whole bunch of bikers at this restaurant, and all of a sudden gunfire starts erupting. And then you got dead bikers outside. It was terrible. Rest in peace to all the people that lost their life at the Waco incident. The sprawling case is expected to take months, possibly over a year, to resolve. Some defense attorneys have already expressed their intentions to bring their allegations to trial. Below, the 14 men charged are listed in order as they appear in the superseding indictment, which filed when prosecutors seek to introduce new charges or add defendants to an existing case. The first indictment was filed in October after 2 Bandidos were charged with attempted murder. And we're going to go over those cases, but first we're going to check out Brandon's, because it's quite interesting. I might have to do a part 1 and a part 2 for this one, because there's a lot. Okay, you guys know Brandon. I interviewed him on the show. He's been on Demons Row. Shout out to Demons Row. Shout out to Ambic. He's been on Ambix. And he's been on a couple other podcasts. And he was expressing that he wasn't involved with any of this stuff anymore. And he regretted being involved with the motorcycle club. It says Brandon Hantz, a 2-time Survivor contestant. Brandon Hantz faces charges related to alleged assault on the Graybeards in 2023, as well as an arson indictment in Montgomery County. Authorities claim he guarded an entrance of bimbos to prevent Graybeards from leaving and set fire to the county line ice house in retaliation for the bar hosting what officials described as a fight night for the Brothers East. Now, the Brothers East is a motorcycle club, and I guess they consider each other rivals. Witnesses and confidential informants, of course, because there's confidential informants in every club, you just don't know who they are. They helped law enforcement uncover Hantz's involvement in both incidents. They also utilized cell phone location data obtained from nearby towers. During cross-examination, Montgomery County Sheriff's Office Deputy Chantel Ward, who has served as an FBI task force officer for 3 years, acknowledged that authorities had no evidence to suggest that Graybeards attempted to pass by Hantz or that he instigated any confrontation. She also noted the video surveillance footage from that night in the county line ice house was set ablaze does not show the occupants of the truck suspected of starting the fire. So they don't even have, like, they're saying that they have all this evidence, but it does not show Brandon doing it. So, I mean, it doesn't sound like they have too much evidence. Of the 14 men indicted in the case, Hantz has likely spent the least time with the Bandidos, only about a year or two. His wife testified that he'd previously been involved with a motorcycle ministry, which she described as regularly attending church and providing moral support at funerals for families of deceased motorcyclists. I'm not going to say her name. His wife testified that the 33-year-old husband was initially attracted to the Bandidos because their perceived camaraderie. However, about a year after joining, he became disillusioned with the organization and left on bad terms in July, according to Ward. Attorney Scott Gremmels, hired by Brandon, sometime last year, testified in court that a green light had been placed on Hantz and multiple death threats have been made against him and his family. A green light is issued for former Bandidos when they leave the organization under unfavorable conditions, according to Ward. Hantz used social media, likely to exacerbated the death threats. Grommel's suggested he has participated in several interviews and created numerous TikTok videos to discuss his time with the Bandidos, expressing regret for joining the organization. Hantz, identified by authorities as Gundrop or Loco, was apparently aware that the state and federal authorities were investigating him. His wife testified that if not for the pending threat of the indictment, her and her husband and their 4 children would have left the state. Judge Ho noted the wife's testimony in her ruling, allowing the former Bandido to be released on an unsecured $50,000 bond without GPS monitoring. Strongly negates that you would pose a risk of non-appearance. That must mean that he doesn't pose a high risk of not appearing. Polyon, what's up? What's good? How are you? Darren, thank you for joining me. Rah, what's going on? Mark, Gorilla, War Gorilla, what's good, man? Thanks for joining me today. Appreciate you. Ant, how are you? Got a lot of people pile in. Everybody's welcome over here. Hit that like button. So, his wife was accompanied in court last month by dozens of family members and friends of her husband, half of whom were from their church. Assistant Attorney Brian Black, who's prosecuting the case. I think that's this guy. Alongside Kelly Matos, argued that Brandon Hantz was skilled at concealing his activities during his time with the Bandidos. However, Judge Ho remarked that Hantz, who does not appear to have a criminal record, seemed to have admirable and deep support within the community and had taken steps to improve his situation. See, so the judge seen that, all the videos he's done talking about his past life and how he regretted it and all that. She's seen all that. And she gave him bond. But that doesn't change the fact that there's still a green light on him. So we're going to go back up to the top of the indictment. This is pretty long. Pretty long. John Purfer is the first person indicted. According to authorities, John Purfer was the president of the Bandidos Welcome to Hell chapter. Officials say the KD-based chapter was founded in 2021, specifically to target its rivals, particularly from the Brothers East Motorcycle Club, or BEAST, a former support club. Brothers East separated from the Bandidos, initiating what officials describe as an ongoing turf war. Prior to becoming a Bandido, Purfer was involved with the Mosqueteros, a different support group. While with them, he served as a sergeant at arms responsible for enforcing rules and maintaining discipline within the chapter. Law enforcement officials say that joining a support club is often the first step towards becoming a Bandido. Purfer is one of 6 defendants charged with racketeering conspiracy under RICO. Under the law, prosecutors can target alleged leaders of the criminal enterprise for crimes committed by their associates, even if those leaders did not directly participate in any of those offenses. That is insane. So the leader can be charged if his associates did the crime. He doesn't even have to participate in any of the crime. That is crazy. So it says, according to the indictment, Purfer was personally involved in 2 incidents over the past 5 years, one of which led to the death of a Brothers East motorcyclist on the night of September 26, 2020. Adam Burns was fatally shot while being attacked by a group of 6 Bandidos, including Purfer. According to prosecutors, authorities believe that Purfer's co-defendant, Roy Gomez, is responsible for the shooting, although it is not currently charged with murder in the federal case. That doesn't make sense. So if this other dude's is the one that shot the guy, why is he locked up for? It makes no sense. Authorities say Purfer, 32, initiated confrontation with Burns by punching him in the face during the altercation outside a hog shop bar and grill in northeast Harris County. Purfer was shot in the arm, subsequently treated at the hospital for his injuries, according to officials. Houston police found a pistol magazine among his belongings at the hospital. Second incident in which Purfer is accused of directly participating occurred on February 23rd, 2023, at a bar called Bimbos near Tomball. Upset that members of the Graybeards Motorcycle Club had allegedly reached what officials described as a peace agreement with Brothers East, the Bandidos summoned 14 Graybeards to the bar. According to officials, the Bandidos were holding a regional chapter meeting, also known as a card game. About 70 Bandidos in attendance. In contrast, the Bandidos, the Graybeards, are not recognized by federal authorities as an outlaw motorcycle gang. While at the bar, authorities said Purfer questioned the Graybeard about his loyalty to the Bandidos before attacking him. Graybeards later informed authorities that Purfer and others robbed them of their cuts, which are denim or leather jackets, according to the officials. Taking a jacket from a member of a motorcycle club is viewed as the ultimate sign of disrespect. U.S. Magistrate Richard Burnett denied bail for Purfer last week, saying that no measures could ensure public safety if he were released on bond, according to his court-appointed attorney, Quinn Williams. Purfer served in the Navy from 2011 to 2015, with this final duty assignment on the USS Princeton. So he was denied bond. You see the difference? Hey, Mark, what's up? How are you? Mike, what's good? Thanks for joining me today. Make sure you guys hit the like button. So the next guy we got, so that was the first person in the indictment. The next person we got is Michael Dumphrey. According to authorities, Michael Dumphrey is a former high-ranking bandito who left the organization in 2023 after 10 years. Before his departure, he served as National Sergeant of Arms, making him the highest-ranking bandito in the Houston area. In that role, he supervised 17 other Bandidos chapters. Dumphrey, 57, also faces racketeering conspiracy charges due to his former leadership position. While in this role as National Sergeant of Arms, he allegedly instructed Houston area Bandidos to smash on sight any Brothers East members they encountered, sometimes around 2020. Authorities contended that Bandidos may face repercussions from fellow members for failing to comply with the orders issued by their superior. Dumphrey, whom authorities say was known as Big John within the Bandidos, is also accused of participating in alleged assault and robbery of 14 graybeards at Bimbos in 2023. The indictment further claims he directed prospective Bandidos, who are essentially probationary members of the club, to put on their gloves and rough up any graybeards who attempt to leave the bar. Authorities said that some of the graybeards sustained broken bones and concussions as a result of the altercation. I mean, there were 70 Bandidos. There was only like 10 graybeards, it says. What you expect, Loco out here running his mouth. Hey, he's out of jail. He's out of prison on a $50,000 bond. You know, he denounced his role in the club. So they let him out of jail. They let a lot of these guys out of jail. And you're about to find out if this guy got let out too. Dumphrey, a tattoo artist, was granted bail last month after U.S. Magistrate Yanni Ho said she could find no clear and conceiving evidence that he had issued a direct order to attack graybeards, or that his departure from the Bandidos indicated he would rejoin or be involved with the organization. Dumphrey is represented by court-appointed attorney, but he got out of jail, you know? So, I can't even say this guy's name. Darby Henjoisa. So Darby was among one of the first defendants charged in the federal racketeering case alongside John Subdero. Darby, whom officials say goes by 10 rounds, served as Sergeant of Arms at the Welcome to Hell chapter, is accused of participating in alleged assault and robbery of the graybeards. He is also charged with attempted murder. On the night of June 2nd, 2023, authorities said Darby helped orchestrate a near-fatal shooting of Brothers East member. According to the indictment, Darby received a phone call from a prospective bandito who informed him that two Brothers East were at Winter's Bar in Pasadena. Darby then maintained contact with the prospect and received updates on the movements of the Beast members, and called other banditos, including Salbandero, as stated in the indictment. After the two Brothers East members had left the bar in a white Ford F-150, pulled it besides one of them, according to authorities. While Santoro was driving, another bandito opened fire, hitting the motorcyclist 7 times, authorities said. Authorities say the shooter was Stephen Alms, who pleaded guilty last year to racketeering, conspiracy, and felony possession of a firearm in a different federal case. Damn. Derry, who's 35, also faces charges of conspiracy due to his alleged leadership role, as well as charges of possession and selling of cocaine. He recently hired Charles Flood to represent him, replacing Joyce Reiner last year. His bail was denied by Ho. So John Sublinero is accused of driving the truck that pulled next to the brothers, each motorcyclist, who was shot 7 times, allegedly by Alms. Authorities also consider him a high-ranking member of the Bandidos gang. At the time of his arrest, Sublinero was serving as secretary of the Bandidos Central chapter in Houston, according to officials. It's unclear how long the 54-year-old man had been a bandito, but authorities say he was previously demoted to a prospective bandito for reasons that remain unclear. Joshua Lyons, an investigator with the Texas Department of Criminal Justice Office, the Inspector General, and the FBI task force officer, said despite his demotion, Sublinero chose to stay with the organization, demonstrating his commitment. We've had people say prospecting is hell on earth, Lyons said at Sublinero's detention hearing in October. Like in Joshua, Sublinero, known as Tech 9, hired his own attorney after initially being assigned one. Court records show that Jed Ross Silverman replaced attorney in December. It doesn't say whether he was released or not. Brenly Reckenbecker. Authorities consider Brenly Reckenbecker a high-ranking bandito, according to Lyons. He most recently served as secretary-treasurer to the Welcome to Hell chapter. Like Perfer, authorities said he is a former musquetero who later became a bandito. Reckenbecker, 37, faces racketeering conspiracy charges due to his alleged leadership role and is accused of being involved in a 2020 altercation that resulted in Adam Burns' death, and in 2023, an alleged assault on the Graybeards. During the 2020 incident at the Hog Stop Bar and Grill, authorities claim that Reckenbecker prevented a Brothers East member from helping Burns when he was allegedly assaulted. Meanwhile, in the days after the altercation with the Graybeards, authorities say the Bandidos circulated a picture showcasing the cuts that they had stolen from the Graybeards. Lyons said the motorcycle seen in the picture belonged to Reckenbecker, who reportedly went by Dollar Bill. According to his LinkedIn page, Reckenbecker, who was denied bail by Ho, served in the Navy in 2006 and 2012 and has mainly worked as an elevator repairman since then. His court-appointed attorney, Michael DeJaren, the son of renowned criminal defense attorney Mike DeJaren. So he was denied bail. Damn, you see a lot of these people in the leadership positions, they end up getting denied bail. It's insane. Mountain Woman, how are you? Thank you for joining me. King J, what's good? Thank you for joining me today. Hit the like button. So, David Vargas. David Vargas facing charges, murder and attempted murder in connection with the fatal shooting of Michael Zambrosch, identified by authorities as a Brother East motorcyclist. The 26-year-old was shot and killed on Interstate 10, Feeder Road, near Jinto City in Harris County, November 2nd, 2021. Two other alleged Brother East members, Darius Moore and Kevin Sirico, were also injured in the shooting, which occurred shortly after the three motorcyclists left the Cajun restaurant called Blue Bayou Cafe on the East Freeway. Vargas was arrested by Houston police and charged with murder by Harris County prosecutors shortly after the incident. However, the charges were dismissed later last year due to a missing witness. According to court records, authorities said in court this week that the missing witness was Kevin Sirico. Bennett, a federal magistrate judge, denied Vargas bail last week, despite arguments from his attorney, John Wakefield. He said Vargas had never missed court date or violated conditions of his release while out on bond for the state murder charge. Prosecutors countered that although Harris County prosecutors had never filed a motion to revoke his bond, Vargas was seen associating with Bandidos, which directly violates his bond conditions. So listen, if you're out on bond, you cannot associate with people in the club. That's just the bottom line, right? Wakefield also argued that Vargas, who authorities said is known by the nickname Break Check in First Time. So he goes by the name Break Check or First Time, will be unable to receive necessary medical care while in a pretrial facility. Wakefield stated Vargas lost part of his right leg in a hit-and-run accident involving a motorcycle. Damn, he requires physical therapy and cannot access while detained. Barnett requested Wakefield provided documentation to support the claim. According to Wakefield, 33-year-old is an Army veteran who completed 2 hours or 2 tours. 2 hours. He completed 2 tours in Afghanistan and was honorably discharged after being injured in an IED explosion. Wakefield also said Vargas is a recipient of the Bronze Star and has received 1 Purple Heart. So he was denied bail. Roy Gomez. Previously mentioned, authorities hold Ron Gomez responsible for the fatal shooting of Adam Burns at the Hog Stop Bar and Grill, September 2020. However, he has not been charged with murder in the federal racketeering case, and it remains uncertain whether he will be. Instead, Gomez faces assault and a firearm charge related to the alleged assault on Burns, who, along with 2 Brothers East members, was attending a bar annual beauty contest, Miss Hogstop, I guess it's called. Shortly after the incident, prosecutors in Harris County charged Gomez with murder. However, the charges were dismissed last week due to a federal indictment, according to court records. I don't understand that. The guy's charged with murder in state court, right? And then this indictment comes out, they just dropped the murder charge. It makes no sense. Makes no sense. In advocating for Gomez's release until the federal case is resolved, court-appointed attorney David Adler said none of the shell casings found at the scene had Gomez's fingerprints on them. He also argued that the firearm discovered at the location did not bear Gomez's fingerprints. Based on the collected shell casing, authorities believe 3 guns were fired at that night. The complainant filed in the state case against Gomez and indicates that Burns is believed to have fired 4 shots while being assaulted, according to the complaint. He was ultimately shot 6 times, including 5 times in the back. Authorities say Gomez, a truck driver known by the nickname Repo. Damn, he took Repo's name. Shout out to Repo. Go check out Repo's show. Repo is a current member of the Bandidos and most likely held the position of Sergeant of Arms for the organization's Central Houston chapter. Prior to that, officials say he held the position of road captain in the Fort Bend County chapter. Gomez is reportedly associated with an SS crew named for its Nazi-style lightning bolts worn on their vests. As he has an SS tattoo, according to Lyons. Lyons described the crew as a group of enforcers involved in violent matters. Gomez, 50, was denied bail by Ho last week after federal magistrate determined that no condition or combination of conditions could reasonably ensure his court appearance or guarantee the community's safety, highlighting a criminal history that dates back to 2015. Gomez's most recent conviction was 2016. Shows he served 2 days in jail in the Harris County Jail for punching a man in the face. When Gomez was initially arrested for Burns' murder in 2020, Lyons said authorities found a sticky note with the name of 3 Brothers East members, along with their license plate. Though it remains unclear whether Burns' name was included, Lyons mentioned that authorities suspected that Bandidos sometimes place hits on Brothers East members. It's getting deep, and we're going to save the rest for tomorrow. And remember, we're going to be doing a show about the situation. Thank you for gifting someone. I appreciate that. OB Joe, what's going on? Hey, Staxx, I didn't get the memo about the territory wars. I thought being a 1%er was about rebelling against the government, society. I guess it's all about the almighty dollar. Listen, things are changing. I think it needs to go back the way it used to be when motorcycle clubs were about motorcycles. And people worked on their bikes and drank beer and hung out at parties. Instead, it's turning into something different. I mean, I don't understand. I don't get it. But a lot of these people are just normal people, you know? Some people get caught up in some bullshit, but they're all just normal people. Even the people that are in the other motorcycle clubs, if you took their cuts and switched them, and you didn't know these people, you wouldn't know the difference between them because they're all the same types of people. You know what I mean? And we got some new information about the whole situation that happened out in Florida with the warlocks and the Mongols. We're going to talk about that later. How did it start? There's new information in the situation, and it's exclusive. But I'll check you guys out later. I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this show. There'll be more information about this one tomorrow, and I'm probably going to do another one in a little while, because I got some new information about this situation. We're going to talk about it. I appreciate everyone that takes the time to watch this show. If you like this show, hit the like button, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. If you want to donate to the show, hit up the Cash App at Chattin with Staxx. If you want to be a guest on the show, if you got a story to tell, hit me up at BillStaxx2021 and let me hear your story. I appreciate all you guys. If you like this show, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop. And if you don't like this show, you already know what to do. Start your own fucking podcast. I appreciate everyone. And remember, don't be a bitch.
And all new at 5, a major organized crime bust. 23 people under arrest now accused of stealing guns and cash.
Today, police revealed 4 organized crime groups are wreaking havoc.
From aggravated robbery to kidnapping, burglary, and more. Let's take a look at this. New pictures from court documents in this case. These are a few of the people who have been charged. And investigators say the money, tens of thousands of dollars, is all stolen.